You'll never live that down.
Joining BYU Sports Nation now is Jonathan Tavernari. We talked to him yesterday after the show via Skype / the phone in Italy. And Jonathan, true to form, was rebounding a mini basketball for his son as he was talking to us on the phone, which is hilarious. We talk about Tyler Haws, Jimmer, and everything going on in the current state of BYU basketball. Here's that interview with Jonathan Tavernari. Joining BYU Sports Nation from Italy now is basketball great Jonathan Tavernari. Jonathan, welcome back to BYU Sports Nation.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
We have a lot to talk about, starting with this. It's Jimmer Fredette's birthday week. Have you called him yet to wish him happy birthday?
Not yet. I had to do some physical exams in the morning, then practice, then some potty accidents to take care of when I got home. So I haven't personally congratulated the great one yet. So,
well, let's get this straight. You called. This is also my birthday week. Not to toot my own horn, but toot. You called me before you called Jimmer, so I'm flattered, JT. I'm a big,
hey,
I'm a big fan. It means a lot.
Mike, I appreciate it, but I call on the day, man. This whole thing of birthday week celebration lasts a whole week, whole month. No, celebration lasts a day. Okay. It's a special thing, kind of like Christmas. Happens once a year. So that's how it is.
Jonathan Tavernari setting it straight about birthdays on BYU Sports Nation. Jonathan, I know you are a very, very dedicated BYU basketball fan. You're playing professionally in Italy, but you make it apparent on social media that you're dialed into the season. This team is on the bubble, firmly. You've been on the bubble before. What's it like to play on a BYU basketball team when games late in the season are pressure-packed and NCAA tournament chances ride, it seems like, on every result?
Well, fortunately, when I was there, my 4 years, we were never on a bubble like this team was, because we were always top 15, top 20. We were always there.
Wait, you were never on the bubble? You were never on the bubble?
No, we were never in a bubble like that. No. I know we were always the 8th seed, but we knew we were going to play. We just need, every single selection Sunday, we were just waiting to see what seed we're going to get, And I'm following the team, I'm proud of everything they've accomplished, And even if they don't get to go to the NCAA tournament, which is a possibility, but, we all pray that they do, I think everybody should be just happy that they got to see pretty much 3 straight years of Tyler Haws.
Jonathan Tavernari with us on BYU Sports Nation, joining us from Italy. Yeah, that's right. He's playing professionally overseas. Jonathan, do you feel like BYU is a tournament caliber team this year?
Well, when you can't argue having number one offense in the country, and the way we play, like everybody. That's the main thing about BYU, and Coach Rose is so underrated. Like the way we play in a fun way. I mean, people are like, oh, we should change the shot clock to 30 seconds. No, we should change it to BYU shot clock and play in 20 seconds, 24 seconds, because they make the game fun. And, I think that this year's team is very capable of getting there. It's going to take a lot of work in the sense of, giving Gonzaga a run for their money in Spokane, making sure they perform well in Vegas. But I think they can do it. I mean, it'll be kind of like the icing on the cake, for Tyler's career, and a big trampoline, for Kyle's senior year. You know what I mean? And but I think this team is capable of, and if you're in the selection committee, and you're looking like, well, we can't leave the number one offense in the country, because it's not like, I know I'm going long, but I know it's not like a Siena or a Boo Boo State, Middle Boo Boo State, Tennessee, or whatever it's called. Like they're the number one offense in the country, and they're playing against Boo Boo Western or, Little Tiny Eastern. They're playing against, real competition. I mean, the conference, I read Greg Wrubell's tweets every day of how high, the WCC is ranked as a conference and that kind of stuff. And to be the number one offense in that kind of, in that kind of setting, that's a big deal,
JT, can you compare and contrast your days in the Mountain West Conference against BYU now in the WCC?
No, I can't, and actually this is an argument that Greg and I have every summer. I'm a huge fan of the Mountain West. You can't, because when I compare it to when I was there, I'm going to exaggerate, but we used to schedule Loyola Marymount as, the first game of the season, like almost an exhibition game, because we knew that we had bigger fish to fry, like, North Carolina, Louisville, Wake Forest. You know what I mean? Like Michigan State. We had bigger things to worry about. But the way things are now is we are part of the West Coast Conference, and UNLV is not the powerhouse used to be. New Mexico is not as high ranked and a top 10 program as when my best friend Alfred was there. And things are different now. I mean, heck, even Utah is a top 10 program in the country. So you just so you see how much things changed. And so you can't really compare to that, But that being said, the West Coast Conference is very BYU. It's a BYU conference right now. If you take a snapshot, because we play pretty much 4 guards out. You play with one big man inside, and this year not having Nate was a huge blow. Although I still think that Corbin is going to be a pro, and he looks like a pro. He just needs to improve, naturally. But he wasn't ready to take over like Trent Placer was his freshman year, or how Brendan Davis helped us. But I think you can't really compare to that, because when for instance my senior year, when we lost to New Mexico at home, that was the highest game ranked between 2 ranked opponents ever in the Mountain West. We were number 10. No, we were number 9 or 10, and New Mexico was 10 or 11, something like that. So you can't really put that into words, because that time the Mountain West was a powerhouse.
Jonathan Tavernari, JT for 3, joining us on BYU Sports Nation. Played for the Cougars from 2006 to 2010. You look at Dave Rose. He just got a 5-year contract extension. Tom Holmoe said yesterday, I hope he's the coach of BYU for 15 more years after that. What do you think about Dave Rose at BYU and him getting the contract extension?
Well, 15 years sounds about the time when I'll be retiring from basketball. So I think that's a really good deal that, Tom could lock him in for 15, and, I can come in and take things over. No, but, I'm so glad it was, locked the contract 5 years. I'm super excited for Micah. I haven't had a chance to see him yet here in Italy yet. About Nick coming up, and then TJ coming up, and Mike, and and Dalton, and Toulson, and all getting ready for their second year, and Casey senior year. I think there's a lot of things going right now for the program. You know what I mean? There's a lot of buzz going on at BYU. Imagine that, and all these things going on, and we might not even make the NCAA tournament. Imagine how big of a deal it will be if we win. So I think that we just got to look at the positive things about this whole scenario.
JT, Jonathan Tavernari in Italy on BYU Sports Nation. The Marriott Center just had some announced upgrades. All of the lower bowl seats are going to be blue. There's going to be brand new television screens.
How do you feel about that, Jonathan?
I got to be honest with you. When I go in Marriott Center every summer, I go in and I say hi to everybody. I kind of just go in and take a second, and my wife kind of just lets me just enjoy the moment. But it changed a lot since I was there. Grateful that the hoops and Crestmere's jersey up there is the same, and so is Danny's. I'm hoping that I'm working for the athletic department when they retire Jimmer, because I think that would be really special. He's one of my really good friends. But I think all of these changes, like people say, well, I'm not prone to change and all of that. But these changes are good. These changes kind of keep things going, and we got to keep up with times, kind of like the church and the whole thing of we love, the LGBT community and all of that. Like, we just got to keep up with times. We're not changing the gospel and we're not changing our doctrine. We're just expanding the reach of our arms to make sure that we can embrace everybody. And I think that BYU basketball is doing the same thing, especially with this annex. I'm glad that I can, I talked to Brian Santiago. I talked to Ted Lewis about being able to help and all that kind of stuff, and it's the next step. They've been talking about that since Danny Ainge was probably a freshman, and by the time I left, I told Jimmer, I said, hey, once you get to the league, donate enough money so they can call it the Jimmer Fredette building, and so all of these things, we're just, we're not keeping up with the Jonas, we're keeping up with the standards that things need to be, a successful, and I think that's one of the reasons pros, decided and agreed to stay more years in Provo. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm hearing that they're going to have an alumni locker room, so you need to at least come back and check out your locker, along with Tyler Haws, who's going to pass Jimmer Fredette as the all-time leading scorer most likely tomorrow against Portland. Does Tyler get enough respect and notoriety for what he's doing?
No, he doesn't. I think that people kind of underrate everything that Tyler has accomplished, Because here's the thing. Everybody, sometimes I get on arguments with fans on Twitter, kind of like, why didn't Tyler win more games? Or why didn't Tyler, because it doesn't take one player to win everything. Michael Jordan didn't win a championship until Scottie Pippen came around, And, what Tyler has done is amazing. His consistency, somebody put on Twitter the other day about, the gray one versus the machine, comparing him and Jimmer. You can't say it better than that. Tyler's consistency is unbelievable. To be able to what he does, night in and night out, that is really hard. And when people, dog on him like, well, he should have been ranked and they should have won. Well, maybe players around him should have helped him a little bit more, And I'm not by saying that. I'm not saying, well, this guy stinks or that guy is not good. All I'm saying is everybody's talent increases, and it's hard to keep up with that, I was blessed, and this is the last thing I'll say about this. I was blessed to play with probably 4, 5, 6 of BYU all-time top 30 players, with Lee and Trent and Keena, and Jackson Emery, Jimmer, Brandon Davies, Tyler. I was blessed. Everybody says, oh, John, JT is one of the greats. Well, that's because I got to play with a lot of them too. They're better, especially in practice, So for you to win, it takes more than a person. People don't give Tyler enough credit.